Hey, Dan, I think we'll do it live and we'll do it now. Hey, Shadowhawk,
Hey, how's it going, Rex?
meet
Hey
Dan
man,
and
how are
Evans,
you?
the creator, the mad genius, the all around good guy, that creator of Godfoe universe.
Hey, good to meet you, sir.
What's up, Shadowhawk?
Just the usual, man. Trying to chill out before a long day of work in the morning.
Now you
I
met you
feel
met
you.
Joshua, but you didn't meet Dan of Godfoe universe. Joshua was filling in for him, and Joshua can't be with us last time, but Joshua can't be with us tonight. He's on a mission type thing, something.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, Carrie.
Well, it's good to meet you, Dan.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think we had a pretty decent time with Joshua last time he was here.
I hope so. He can be a drag sometimes.
Oh, I noticed that.
Nah, he's the artist, so I give him hell that he has the hard job.
Well, he did show us his lash wounds up here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like Dan the slave driver. Andale, andale, yeehaw!
He's probably drawing even now while he's out where he is.
Probably. I've doodled in church. Is that a mortal sin? Uh, check that background out. Who's the dog back
Depends what
there?
you
Look
do.
at the dog painting back there.
That is Baxter.
Okay.
That's an English bulldog my wife had that passed away, unfortunately.
Mm.
Oh,
Now,
Hey,
Shadowhawk,
Carrie.
don't be afraid to ask him the hard questions. He knows all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Since I know nothing, how about we get a little background on Godfoe?
All right, it's a.
And
I'm
and I
sorry. Go
think
ahead.
Shadowhawk, you already backed it, really. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think I may have when we had Joshua on.
yeah, let me bring it up here. Over on Indiegogo. Uh, seem to be doing pretty well. $2,035, 56 backers, good backer count.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
we
Closed down
exceeded.
January 31st
Yeah,
of this year.
we exceeded our expectation greatly.
I've been seeing you get out on some other stations too,
Yeah,
here and
we
there.
a guy named Black Angus Reviews kind of found us from a post I made, and he started sharing us around and getting us on with
Yeah,
people. And Josh and I have been trying to tag team what we can whenever one of us isn't sick.
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Black
Yeah, yeah.
Black Angus. Yeah, he's been in here, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm subscribed to
Yeah, I
him.
catch quite a few of his reviews and stuff.
Oh yeah, he's a fun guy. Very funny.
Yeah.
You'll probably
Carrie,
recognize some of this artwork.
I
Oh
hope
yeah.
so.
It's all coming back now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Carrie said,
Polyon
"What comic did you read?
20XX.
Made
Is
you
that how
think?"
you say that, or
Yeah, we used to say 20XX. I mean, some people can say 2000. It doesn't bother us.
Okay. Do you mean it to be 2,000?
We say 20XX.
Okay. All right. We'll
Yep.
do that.
Yeah, I saw that Carrie also.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Carrie's got a question for you. Dan, what comic did you read that made you want to create comics?
She says, "Be right back." So hold that thought, Dan.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she just popped that up there. Be right back. So hold that. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the
Way to go, Carrie.
Apollyon
Sure.
20XX. See up there, Shadowhawk, it might be real small on your phone, but Phantom of Paradise. Uh, the most arranged film you've never seen. I've actually seen that.
Was it good?
Yeah, I saw it many years ago. I was too young. It was rated R. It was one. It was at the drive-in theater, and since it had that Phantom of the Opera type thing, it was like maybe a decade or so before I actually got to see it because I was too young at the time in the 1974, 75 to actually go to the movies and see it.
Oh, I'm going to check this out.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's worth the watch. That's one I don't add in my. I don't have in my collection, so I can't just watch anytime I want. It's a pretty wild ride. According to this, you can go on there and just look up Phantom. What is that called? Let's click on that. Let's see what it says about it. I have seen that. Yeah. Skip ahead. Yeah.
The mask on there looks like Griffith from Berserk.
They
Yeah, I haven't really read any of the.
they have that opener, right?
Shadowhawk, you might like it, man. I mean, it's a manga, but it's if you're not into manga, but if you are, like, it's very brutal, very dark, but it's some of the best art you'll find, especially in that medium.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
I don't have any good comic shops left in my area anymore. We did have a bookstore that carried a bunch of manga and stuff up at the local mall. But I went up there at Christmas time to buy something for my daughter because my oldest daughter's really into Junji Ito. If you're familiar.
Yeah, horror guy.
Yeah. And I'd gotten stuff there for her before. I went back up there and the place was closed. So I don't know where to get anything around here anymore. I got to go to Amazon, I guess.
Is that the one you bought my figure from?
No. That's a difference. That's a toy and collectible store. That's local.
Okay. They don't have comics there?
Very limited back issues. They probably got about like maybe 10 long boxes at the back of the store.
That's not a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
We've the place where Josh lives has the second largest comic shop on the Eastern Seaboard.
Wow.
It's called Galactic Comics.
Yeah, I think he was telling us about that when he was here.
Yeah, well, if I can, I'll get y'all guys the information if you want to reach out to Dale, the owner there, and just talk to him. I mean, he's a really cool guy, and they're doing some awesome stuff. He's a great guy to have on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You bet. Yeah. Galactic Comics, one of the biggest naming comics.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's a pretty big store.
That'd be my little moniker, one of the largest names, one of the largest names
out of this world.
Yeah.
Sorry,
or if it was Galactus Comics, it would be like, we eat comics for breakfast.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Yeah,
I don't think they can get
and
away
the
with
rest of
that.
the world.
I think they do use Galactic and like some of the Galactus and some of the promo stuff.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
yep. They have a gigantic Serpentor's throne from GI Joe, like a big
Oh
life
wow.
size one there when you walk in. It's got the giant golden cobra coming up and all that.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they've got the GI Joe Air Force carrier, like the original one from the
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
80s or
Okay.
whatever.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
they've got one of those
Yeah, I was
there.
never a huge GI Joe fan. I was a little late, to the game on that one,
Yeah.
or early, I guess. I was a little old for GI Joe, I guess. But man, when I saw that carrier come out, I was like, God, I wish I was young enough.
Yeah, I wish I could have had this thing. There's no way my dad would have got us that. My
Yeah,
dad used
I
to
have.
cut the.
I have like two knockoffs of that. Huge
Oh
aircraft
wow,
carrier. Yeah, just
really?
left them in the box, and
That's cool.
yeah, it's not the GI Joe one, but it is a huge aircraft carrier. They had them like fairly cheap at like Family Dollar, and they had two of them. I bought them both.
Oh
You
wow.
know, maybe at Christmas time. Apollyon 20XX, Godfoe Universe.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Live not by lies. Powerful global elites have created their own GOD. Only a group of young augments can stop them. Now, tell us a little bit about this, Dan.
Sure. The story is that in the 19th century, an alien metal that we from now on call Impera metal fell to Earth, and some global elites got it up. They kind of knew what it was and started experimenting with people with it, and then they realized that they could basically control anyone with it as long as they could merge it with a person and a machine. That's the gist of it. So they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to create a god machine to control everyone on Earth. And Zero here, he's the guy with the chrome dome right there, was a candidate for it. He escapes and he frees the six individuals you see there with him to help stop the machine before they can use his brother in it.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Now that you remind me, I think I did end up back in this one right after we got off with Josh,
Well,
or maybe even while he was still in the show, I might have popped out. And went.
you should be getting it soon. We did fulfillment last week, and we've already had people get it. We did a less than a month turnaround on it.
Wow, man, that's amazing.
It was done
Yeah, I
before.
noticed,
Yeah.
at least on your website,
Hmm.
one guy, uh, DeBrute
Yeah, the brute.
Daniels.
Yeah, Andre.
Yeah, he had a photo of him with your comic
Hmm.
Well, that's great.
posted.
Something to look forward to in the mail here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should be getting it very soon. Like I think it had to be last Tuesday. They all went out.
Oh well, yeah. Then should be showing up anytime now.
Yep.
This
And
too can be you, Shadowhawk.
So, yeah.
yeah, the brute's great.
Well, maybe a little different.
He's a really nice guy. We kind of knew him before. He reviewed our book. I think Josh did some artwork for him after that. We've had
Mhm.
really good reviews, if that means anything. I mean, sometimes reviews mean something, sometimes they don't. Um,
Yeah, I don't know how that works necessarily, but hey, a good review is always better than a bad review, right?
yeah, we haven't got any bad ones yet. Someone expressed some concern that because our pages were so black that was gonna mess them up, but the pages are fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, indie comics is a strange place. That's what we've noticed because we came from a music background, and indie music is weird, whatever
Right.
genre you play. But there's always drama in indie comics. There's a lot of creators. Like we're trying to. I don't know. Our goal was kind of course, meet other creators such as yourselves and guys like that, but also just kind of reach the average person. Like we're doing a con next Saturday. We're taking a bunch of the books that were ordered, or that we ordered to sell there, and I don't know. We really love seeing people face to face.
Oh yeah. It's always nice to go to a con and get to meet, actual fans, and
Hmm.
Okay,
which is
Carrie's
one thing
back
I love
now.
about the whole YouTube. Is you can get to know creators and stuff without having to travel across the country.
Oh yeah. Carrie's back. Carrie, Dan, what comic did you read that made you want to create comics? Probably Spawn. That's the one that probably had the biggest influence on me as a kid, as far as when you think back to what kind of hit you in the chest when you first saw it. Because Todd McFarlane's art was just fantastic.
Oh yeah.
His writing not so much.
No, maybe not the best writer, but yeah,
Yeah,
amazing artist.
there were three as a kid that made me consider comics like a real kind of cool thing. Because my dad had some comics. He had like some, I think, some 007, or maybe not, maybe it was like Doc Savage. Probably wasn't 007. Um, he had some Flash and stuff like that. My brothers had X-Men, but I found Cerebus, Spawn, and Grendel by myself, and those three really hit me hard
Was it
because
the female Grendel
the
or?
first one I got was the original, was Hunter Rose, and then the female
Ah,
Grendel. Yeah,
yeah.
but I have both
Okay.
of those entire runs right here. But because
Mm.
I found them myself as a kid, they just felt special. You know what I mean? No one
Right,
introduced
yeah.
them to you. Yeah, it's like I just that and Evil Ernie. I found Evil Ernie at way too young of an age.
Oh, I loved Evil Ernie, man. He's so much fun.
Yeah. Uh, you're right, Birch
I,
Tree. Cerebus is the best barbarian.
yeah, yeah. I was a big Chaos Comics guy for a while there before. Well, I quit collecting in '99 just completely because I was done with
Mm,
all the endless crossovers, and they were already starting to do the 40 or 50 variant cover thing, and it
mm-hmm.
was just too much. I was going through a divorce, and I just stopped. And
I
then
I dropped out
2018,
around I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I was dropped
no,
out
no, no,
around.
you go
I
ahead.
dropped out around '97. Whenever they started doing like X-Men, they would put like '97 or '98 beside it, and the art just got so bad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I really hated the what was the big guy that was like Magneto and Professor X that they put together? Onslaught. I
Onslaught, yeah.
hated it. I hated that whole
Hmm.
run. To me, that's when they started the deconstruction of Professor X and just
Yeah,
make
Yeah.
him
yeah.
look bad all the time. And like now, for some writers can't stop doing that. He's always bad. Like there's always something wrong with Professor X, and they just have to destroy everything. You know.
Yeah, there's only, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 96, 97 when I kind of dropped Marvel and DC. And
Mm-hmm.
then I held on to my Image books for, a couple more years. I was still back in Image and Spawn. And just, like I
Dark
said, with,
Horse.
yeah, Dark Horse, some of the indie stuff. But yeah, when I went through the divorce and everything at the end of '99, ended up moving back to the Great White North.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I just all my desire to collect or anything in comic books and stuff was kind of shelved for a while.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But yeah, 2018, I was injured. I was off work for a couple of months, and I hadn't really even watched YouTube or anything before that, So I finally got into it and discovered Ethan's channel back when it was still just soft-spoken Ethan, talking about comic artist secrets,
Yeah,
and
a lot of
that
it was just his hands
got me back
drawing and
in,
stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, since then I've backed over 400 campaigns, and I don't know how much original artwork and auctions I participated in and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm a huge backer of the indie comics, and I love what's going on.
I appreciate it, man. And like I said, I hope you enjoy what we've done. We're Apollyon is gonna be about a 4 or 5 volume run. About
Nice.
600 to 1,000 pages, I think, all in all.
What's the page count again on this one? It's big, isn't it?
175. Yep,
Wow, yeah, that is a big.
it is. But we like to
Amazing.
I write it, and then me, Josh, and I go back over the script. But I really give him a lot of room, and he wants to draw more. I'll give him a 12-page script. He comes back with 16 pages of art. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna stop you from drawing more than I write.
Now you also have an ash can with this or something, right? A supplement.
We do. It's the first one we did for our old
Ah, you got me.
publisher, Legacy Comics. We had a falling out with. It was 6 pages, and it's a cool little story. It kind of shows a little background of the what's the word I'm looking for? Untrustworthy narrator Zero. So you kind of
Mm-hmm.
get 6 pages of his background, but we put everything we could into it for 6 pages, and then that publisher quite frankly, they've charged way too much money for it. We didn't really like that. We really wanted it to be more customer facing,
Mhm.
and that and some other issues that I can't and won't get into is why we
Right.
broke up with them.
Oh, come on. Throw them under the bus. It's a
I,
Christian thing to do.
I'm literally under an NDA. I can't.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
thing. Yeah.
Carrie says,
Okay.
why do you call ash cans ash cans? Well, Carrie, back in the 1930s, say, oh, I come up with a new character name called Superman, and I want to, I have this new Superman logo, and I want to, they came out with Superman in Action Comics #1. It was a big hit. Well, they wanted to copyright the name of Double Action Comics, and they did.
Mm.
So they quickly slapped probably a piece of artwork that had nothing to do with it with their new logo, and they put it out in this little thing so that it can get registered at the trademark office. And then if somebody tries to use Double Action as a magazine name, they're like, nope, we done got it copyrighted.
Mm-hmm.
It was on really this thing that is just for the purpose that they would make, maybe the art didn't even go with the logo.
Yeah.
I think the the Double Action had some kind of jungle scene on it or whatever.
And then I've also heard, like, when they brought the ash cans back later,
Right.
like in the 80s and 90s and stuff, they were printing these things up. They were basically just promos, 6, 8 pages or what have you. A lot of it would be behind the scenes, just sketch work or whatever, but they're very cool for collectors. But
Mm-hmm.
they knew that a lot of them would just end up going in the garbage because people that went to cons or whatever would pick up everything and then they go home and look at the little pamphlet and throw it in the garbage. They're not going to keep
Mhm.
it, right?
Right.
So,
Right. And some of those things have actually become, some of the freebies that you get at comic shop has become collectible and worth some money.
oh yeah,
I
I've got
always
some
kept,
ash cans that are actually worth something. It's crazy.
yeah, like first appearance of Constantine and other things and some of those freebies.
Yep,
Um,
yeah, I've got a couple of the original Lady Death ones.
uh-huh.
Some oh god,
Sometimes they're called trash cans, I think, or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. You throw them in the trash. It's just
yeah,
basically a quick thing to copyright whatever you want to copyright, whether it was a logo or
Character.
mm,
character or whatever. It didn't have to match up. It didn't even have to be a complete book. Sometimes it could be just folded sheet of
yeah,
paper, front,
Yeah.
back,
and they were super cheap to print.
inside, and back.
Like a pamphlet type of thing. You just you pass them out, and it's like fishing. You throw it out, and you only get one fish. You cast 100 times, right? But
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a quick way to trademark something you didn't want somebody else to have.
mhm.
Yep. But
What was the old method? You could actually draw the picture, write the little description or whatever, mail it to
mail
yourself,
it to
I
yourself
believe.
and keep it sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as it was dated by the post
Hmm.
office. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, as long as they had that postmark on it, then
Right.
you
And
were good.
That was the big
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of that stuff, I think, is still pretty in law. Like, if you make something and you have like the digital, whenever you make anything on a computer, it's digitally imprinted, basically,
Uh-huh.
time stamped. I mean, as long as you have that, if someone tries to steal your stuff a year later, you can show the
Right.
digital timestamp you've got it. That's that's the good part about living in a totalitarian, pseudo techno fascist state that we live in.
Yeah, and well, I mean, I guess you could even track it all the way back to the original IP address that it was
Mm-hmm.
published with or whatever. So,
Oh
yeah, it
yeah.
is like a digital fingerprint kind of.
Yep.
These are the character bio sheets. I noticed, that
Mm-hmm.
your comic is not too text heavy, is it?
No, there's entire pages of just images and everything. This, and maybe I shouldn't have put them up there, but I got really tired of seeing comics, and it used to be like this. Like when we first started studying indie comics, as they are
Hmm.
now, people would put up they put up pages that had no text on them.
Uh-huh.
Mm,
And I get it, so a lot of people buy for art. I've done it before. But I got really frustrated. Like, I don't know anything about this story. Like, and I also don't know if you're a good writer. You might be a terrible writer.
Right.
So we kind of just wanted to be super transparent. Like, okay, well, here's the characters because it's a character focused story. Here's who they
Yeah.
are. Here's an example of how we write. And at the top, people can see some more images at the very top. And in the trailer,
Right.
you can see some images. Like Josh's art speaks for itself. He's a fantastic artist.
Now, Dan, are you going
Go ahead.
quote a Christian crowd with this? Not really, are you? I mean, actually, if I know some Christians, and this might not speak well of them, but would see some of this imagery and go, "Oh, that's satanic," without giving it a
Um,
second look.
I'm going for whoever. It's made for whoever wants it.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. I see a lot of people on, especially indie comics. They always talk about marketing, 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 marketing. It's like, look, if I wanted to market, if I wanted to worry about marketing, I'd go into marketing. I wouldn't make art. Like, we make the books for
Uh-huh.
people who will read them, who will like them, and then will buy more of the books. Like, it's very simple to
Yeah.
us. I don't care if someone's a Christian or isn't. I'm going to hang out with them regardless. Most of my friends aren't Christians.
Right.
I try not to think about that stuff because I've spent my
Sure.
entire like life thinking about it. I don't want to think about it anymore. But as far as imagery, first of all, if I can get a little religious, I mean, I believe that Christ has supremacy over all things. I don't think an image is like a symbol is going to threaten him.
Right. Yeah.
We don't do anything not safe for work. We would never do anything pornographic or erotic, of course, because there actually is something there that is, you know, wrong in a lot
Yeah.
of ways.
Yeah.
But like if you'll scroll down, I mean, I'll get into some of that, like some of the imagery you scrolled past.
Okay. I wanted to mention
Yeah,
this first, though. That's your ash can that you
yep, that's
released,
the
wasn't it?
Ashcan
Your
cover. Yep,
your your issue 0.
yeah,
Cool.
and
Reminds me of Teen Titans or Justice League's Cyborg.
yeah, I think Josh got a little inspiration from that. I mean, and of
Yeah.
course we see Zero what he actually becomes with the Chrome Dome after that, and
Help me! Help! Help!
yeah,
Help!
and like scroll down just a little bit more. I'll show you. It was during the some of the digital stuff, during what we call there's the Lamentations, the Revelations. That's literally that image, that symbol is just the down one more. I'm sorry.
The one you just
Yeah,
said,
right
right
there with the
there. You
snakes. That is the official symbol of the American Theosophy Society. Like I
Oh
didn't
wow.
make that. All I did was double it. And of course, they are crazy people. They made their own religion that's kind of like a Malthusian control the
Oh
Uh-huh.
wow.
planet
I
religion.
wasn't familiar with that.
Yeah, and I just doubled it. But I mean, the order, the bad guys in our book are like that. They want to control the population. They want to basically do all the evil stuff that you're seeing happen in our own world right now. they
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
they just have the means to do it.
So basically, they're just trying to become government.
Yeah, they're trying to be God. Yeah.
Well, 175 pages. Again, why such a large tome? And you say you want to do 5 or 6 of these things.
Well, we wanted to tell the story we wanted to tell. We do have I'll say this and come back. We have another book coming out this year called Biofoul Colga that'll be about 68 to 80 pages. So that's more, palatable for a lot of people. But
Yeah.
Apollyon, it's a complicated story. It's got 7 main characters. Each chapter kind of follows the viewpoint of one of those characters, like which I kind of stole from William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying,
Yeah,
but
that's
Oh
great.
man.
yeah, but didn't do it quite like that. But we really with Apollyon, it's so heavy. It's a very heavy book. I mean, it's Apollyon 20XX.
Well,
Apollyon
yeah, it's
is yeah,
175
yeah.
pages. Of course, it's going to be heavy.
It's heavy.
The
Apo-
hell?
Apollyon in the Bible, of course, is the angel of the pit. And
Right.
2000 or 20XX is kind of it's where we're living now. I mean that's the theme of it. It's I mean, look at the world around you. Like the pit's been opened up on us,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's not about to close anytime soon.
And somehow I just think we're at the rim of it. I don't think we've seen anything yet, Dan.
Yeah, it can always get
All right.
worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a feeling the next 6 months or so are going to get very interesting.
It is an election year.
Yeah.
Things
I
always get
just,
crazy.
Dan, I know you're a family guy and, you keep busy doing other activities besides your comics. Uh, but you can tell I'm tired because it's like my brain's shutting down.
I'm tired too. I feel you.
Yeah. And I know Shadowhawk is. He was like coming in. Whoa, I'll just skip over here to Ryan Cardinals. Ah,
The good old Theosophical Society, Madame Blavatsky, a Russian and American
oh
mystic and
yeah, I'm
author
aware of her.
who
Yeah,
co-founded
yeah.
Theosophical
Okay,
Policy.
yeah.
Yeah,
I have heard of
highly
Madame Blavatsky.
influential to one Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, she was.
Wow,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she was a
Didn't
terrible
she,
person.
for some reason, was she involved with the Golden Dawn at some point too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
A
okay,
lot of
that's
that was
what
the same crap. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm kind of trivial with that kind of stuff because I don't take it seriously, but in the grand scheme of things, but those things you should take seriously because those are ideas that, I mean, I believe the physical and the spiritual intertwine. I'm not a Gnostic, and I think those things should be taken seriously to some degree. In that, like how C.S. Lewis said, demons should be taken. Like you shouldn't have an interest, but you should be aware, basically.
Well,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
judgment
it's
comes,
I don't know. Oh, sorry, Rex, but like lately, I don't know if you've noticed, but it seems like you can't hardly turn on a streaming service anymore without some kind of like 8 different movies about somebody being possessed.
Yep.
New Exorcist, new possession, the
The
possessed
paganism's
toys.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's
oh yeah,
crazy.
paganism's being pushed hard upon America
And
right
that's
now.
one of the
It
few
has
horror
been.
movies that ever really scared me was
Yeah, I
the
can't watch it,
original
man.
Exorcist.
I walked in
No.
one time at a place, at a house or somewhere where it was on, and just the sounds. First of all, a lot of those '70s movies, the horror movies, the sound was perfect. It was so
Hmm.
terrifying, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just like the sound of some of those things. But yeah, like just hearing
Exactly.
that voice come from that girl, like it scared me so. I can't watch that. I can't watch The
Yeah, dude,
Exorcist.
I'm
Yeah,
trying.
And you
I
know
can
what?
watch
It's
it
not
as
good
long
for
as
you
there's
anyway.
somebody with me, but
yeah,
I never watch it alone.
yeah,
It's too creepy.
yeah. I
And,
can't.
and plus,
Mm-mm,
I'm a believer, so demons are
mm,
talked about in the Bible. But as
yeah,
far as I'm concerned, that shit can happen,
Well,
and
like in
I
the
don't
Old
want it
Testament,
nowhere near me.
yeah.
King David was judged, and God said, "Okay, you got your choice of these three judgments here." And he said, I'll take your judgment, God, because I know you're merciful. If I fall into the hands of man, I don't know that they're going to be merciful. He had
Mm-hmm.
already seen enough about people to know that once they get on a chair and want to burn you in effigy, they really want to burn you down to the ground,
Yeah.
finish the job. Uh, and 180,000 Israelites paid with their lives in that judgment. But, and God relented.
Gonna get a little noisy over here, guys. Mama Hawk's on. The dog's gonna lose her mind.
That's all right, man.
There was a reason I bought all that up, but it eludes me
But
right now.
sorry about that,
I'm
Rex.
going to be
No, it's
real
fine.
good
It's
later on Dan's
yeah.
legal show.
No, it's
I've
weird.
got to go shield my book later, like at 10 and p.m. here, and I'll probably be going, "Hi, Dan, how are you? Am I
To somebody
drooling?
else. Yeah.
Is that apple? Is that applesauce mine? Is that
Well,
pudding mine? Yeah. Leave
the,
that on
You're
that
doing
tray.
to go with your
you're doing your
original
Biden
question,
imitation, buddy.
like the reason it's very large is because it deals with a lot of complex things. It deals with macro issues like we just
Hmm.
discussed, spiritual, political, philosophical, and it deals with micro issues because we are huge fans of the show Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is an anime that is almost entirely introverted. It is so overbearing about the characters' inner thoughts and monologues that it really turns some people off. But
Hmm.
here's the thing, man. Like we just kind of looked at a lot of indie comics from guys our age, and it's all a lot of it is trying to capture image, but they weren't alive for image,
Hmm.
and or they're trying to do like manga, and like we love manga, that's fine, but there's not a lot of what I've seen people take an idea and characters and run with that. And we really wanted 4 or 5 big volumes to explore it. These guys, it's basically uh
Also,
what's the name?
why should I
Yeah,
care about your characters? Hopefully,
exactly.
in
Give me
that
time with them.
you got to put some characterization in that story
Mm-hmm.
and care about the characters, or you can write the best, conceptually put together thing, and
Yeah.
if you don't care about the characters by the end of it, it's a failure in my book.
Well, yeah, and I'm not taking pot shots, but I mean, how do you give examples without taking pot spots? You know, I
Hot
like
Right.
spot? Hot
pot,
spot?
pot shots. I liked RJ of the Island. You know, he's got his channel where he does stuff, but he put out his book, Thomas Valiant,
Right.
and you didn't really get to know the characters. He talked about them all the time on his show, but you didn't really get anything from them. And like I said, I'm not picking on him. I'm just that was the example that came to my mind.
Right.
Um, but I don't know.
It
We
didn't
really,
sound like you were picking on him, though.
yeah, I love it. I love his stuff, and we actually talked to him before a little bit. He's a great guy, super nice guy. But we really want to make characters that people really care about, and we are going to finish our story. A lot of indie comic people don't finish their story; they take the money and run, or they get tired and quit.
Right.
But we want to make
Why
it
is this important to you, and why should it be important to your readership?
exactly. To me, this is important because you're not gonna find a book like this. You're not gonna find a collection of art like this. This is Chris Claremont's X-Men meets 1984 meets Akira by the time it's done.
Cool.
Yeah, and the first volume is more down to earth. It's going to get it's going to spread out and get bigger and bigger and bigger and kind of weirder and weirder until it ends. And it's going to be, like I said, 4 or 5 volumes. It's not going to be a manga with 300 volumes like One Piece or something like that. I don't know how people follow that.
Yeah.
But it's also not going to
Well, I
be
mean,
charged.
that's one
Yeah.
thing that got Shadowhawk out of comics entirely is,
Mhm.
it's the Clone Saga, and so that's crossed over into this book and that book, and you've got half a dozen other books where the storyline, whatever it is, Secret Wars, whatever, Marvel Zombies is, or even some of the DC
Yeah,
stuff,
it's
is
always
you
events now.
can't follow it all.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have the bank
Big,
account to follow it all. It's crazy.
Mhm.
yeah, it's big. It's got to involve the whole company, even if you've got, why do I want to buy Squirrel Girl? Okay, I don't care if she's in crisis or not. I really don't.
Yeah.
But this is an essential part of the story, so now you
Oh,
have to
is
buy.
it? It
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah,
like.
well, sounds like BS to me, but
Well, and I just brought up Claremont, and you talk about crossovers and me too, but and of course Claremont is to praise and to blame for the crossovers, like with Inferno and all that. But
Yeah.
even he said after like the first couple ones, like the first 1 or 2, like he didn't want to do them anymore. Like
yeah,
it doesn't make sense. And then that was like what 85 something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it
80,
waters it down to be
80 somewhere in there.
kiddified and campy, I think,
Yeah.
after a certain point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it just got to the point. That's what, like I said, yeah, Marvel and DC were the first to go for me, and then like Image even fell into it after about 3-4 years. They started doing these
Mhm.
company-wide crossover books, and half of it was just filler shit. It wasn't something
Yep.
you wanted to do. You didn't regularly pick it up anyway. It was just a way to get an extra sale on a book,
Mhm. Well, that's the
and
and
that's
And maybe
customer
one that
abuse
was
at
already
that point.
sagging in sales anyway, huh?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but to
and
me, that's it's
I do
misusing the
remember
customer.
Dark Horse did the Darkness and Witchblade really well. They actually said that the Witchblade was birthed from the Darkness, and that explained the crossover that they did.
Mhm.
And it was like a few issues. I mean, I don't know if you guys if you guys know Michael Turner, the
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
artist. Yeah, like, I would buy anything that guy made, even if it was bad. Like anything that he drew, Witchblade. What did he do? Soulfire. What was
Was
the
it
other
his
one?
art,
Also,
or was it
um,
he did Fathom? He
He
did.
Fathom,
Fathom,
yeah,
he was a
Fathom. His
classic
art,
character.
any Michael
Beautiful.
Turner art, I will pick up in an instant. I
Was it his
love it.
writing or his art, or both for you?
It was his art. Like his writing wasn't bad. It was better than McFarlane's, but his
Right.
art, man, that guy knew how to draw the female form. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his background art, like he was, and that's actually how he got hired, was just doing background art for other people, and he was so fantastic at it. Just
Mm.
unbelievable how I wish I had it with me. There's a scene in Soulfire #1 where he's got like this big metal techno dragon sitting on a burned city, and it, like I said, it looks like something almost out of Akira, like the detail he put in like the windows, miles back, just the way
Oh,
he
I
drew
think
it.
they made that into a T-shirt back in the day, didn't they?
I don't know, maybe I just
Oh
remember
God, I
that
swear I know
image.
the image you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, it was fantastic, beautiful image. Um,
yeah. It's
Gary,
shame that He had to leave us so quickly.
Yeah,
Tell
poor guy had
everybody
cancer.
a little bit about your background, what you enjoyed. I think you used to be a DC guy, didn't you, Dan? Or am I getting that wrong?
Well,
Or are you Marvel?
I'm currently more of a DC guy. I was Marvel when I was
Okay.
younger.
Okay.
I had a lot of Spider-Man runs. I had the first appearance of Venom. I had issue 299. I had issue 300 of Amazing Spider-Man.
Don't
Nice.
remind me. I had all those too.
Yeah, I had Carnage. I used to love the symbiotes. I had
I
the
still got
first
all
Harry
those.
Osborn as the Green Goblin. Loved the Green Goblin. I had all the Sinister Six collections. Every single Sinister Six they did.
Oh, nice.
Big Spider-Man fan. I sold them all and got married. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Um.
Sinister Six ones were always fun.
Yeah. Well, I still have Batman Nightfall. All of that. I still
Oh,
loved
that's good
Azrael,
stuff.
even
Now,
though he wasn't
do you
written
do
well.
the trade paperback thing that
I do
condenses?
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just some. I have a few. I have all of issue. I have every issue Spawn one through 100 right down here. I've got a few singles up here. I've got X Factor, the first appearance of Archangel. Um, I've got the first appearance of Omega Red, X-Men number 4 or 5, whichever one it is up
Mhm.
there. I still get some Holy Grail ones that I want of back
Yeah.
issues, because I mean back issues are the only floppies worth collecting nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true.
That's true. Yeah.
But trades, I mean, the trades I try to buy now are usually big
Especially
fat
those
Cerebus
key
ones.
issues, that that's the first appearance of a character,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to. We looked at a giant size Werewolf by Night #1. That's the first appearance of Tigera,
Yeah.
which is formerly the Cat, which kind of had the Hellcat uniform.
Yeah.
That's going way back there, even before I started collecting in the early '70s. But it's a key issue, and it's got to be due to go up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's already at like the 50-year mark, so why not get a copy of it and hold on to it, because it's going to eventually go up.
Yeah.
It's like a rookie
Yeah,
card.
I love all those old 70s Marvel horror comics anyway, so I
Oh
just
man,
want it for my collection.
horror comics have always had the best artists.
Oh, dude, yeah, Bernie Wrightson. God, I mean,
I think the
there's so
genre
many.
allows them to do it. It's like okay, you can almost draw whatever you want as long as it scares people.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's kind of what we put. It takes quite a bit to scare people just from a two-dimensional image.
It
Oh
is.
yeah,
That's what I
but
was
you can
going
do
to
it.
say.
Yeah.
But now, Dan, you're like combining 1984 with futurism, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and you're giving them in big chunks of 175 pages. Are you trying to scare some people with some of the elements of your story
Well, it
at
scares
times?
me.
Huh?
So it scares me. So I think it'll probably
Yeah.
scare some other. I mean, some of it is borderline body horror, like the way because Josh loves horror, of course. Like John Carpenter's his favorite director of all time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I give Josh 100% complete freedom with all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, we don't want to be gruesome or grim, but
Right.
there's a fine line between something looking really cool. I mean, I grew up watching. I was like 7 years old watching Predator and stuff like
Well,
that.
Dan,
Oh,
you can give the same script to, like, say, Jim Aparo, and you can give the same script to, like, John Byrne, and
Yeah.
you can give the same script to the artist of Akira, and you're
Yeah.
going to get three different results. They're going to have three different types of impact on you,
Mm-hmm.
if at all. I think that's where marrying up with the right artist really counts, right? The one that can pull it off.
Well, he was the only artist I know, so
Yeah.
that helps lower the
Retro
selection.
futurism. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
made it an easy choice for Dan.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Birch Street Publishing, that
It was
idea,
affordable.
something
not a good
that
excuse,
bothers
man.
me about comics and in all mediums now is when I see a cell phone. If I see a cell phone in a story, I'm out. Like, and that sounds really petty, but you know what I mean? Like, especially a horror. Like, if you're doing something horror and there's a cell phone, the first thing you have to do.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I got a cell phone in my story, folks. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not trying to be, but you know what I mean? Like, unless, like, especially Marvel and DC, especially Marvel, they try to appeal to like what they think teenagers are now, and Disney does the same
Hold
thing.
that
Disney,
thought while I take a
yeah.
selfie.
Well, they treat
Look,
especially
man, there's
kids.
people that bow down and worship this thing. I wish I could get it out of my life, Dan. But yeah, I do have the bad guy. He's talking on a cell phone to another, trying to get a hold of another.
Well,
bad
see
guy.
that's part of the plot. Like that
Yeah,
makes
it is.
sense.
Yeah.
But a lot of people now, especially, they treat kids like they're stupid, and they write stories for kids as if the kids are stupid. And like, hey man, 100 years ago, kids were reading like what,
Have
like
you seen some of those
Treasure
things
Island.
online? They are stupid. Some of them are stupid. Like, how many moons does the Earth have? Who's the president of the United States? What's 3 plus 4?
No, that's
there
because
are some idiots out there, Dan.
That's because their
And
parents
so the
and the
plan is
schools have
The
failed
programming
terribly.
is working, Dan.
Got him going, Dan.
Yeah, he was on with me over on Apex's channel back in December, so I can bust his
Apex
chops
is great.
now.
I need to see him again. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is a great guy.
Apex is always a good time.
Co-host with him on Saturday nights. He's a good guy when he doesn't set me up and throw me under the bus. Anyway, which I felt like last time I went on, that was my fault. I was kind of set up, but it wasn't a fun time. But yeah, we have fun with Apex. He's on here, and we're over there, and he's a great guy.
Yeah. And speaking
we'd
of,
like to have you back over there on Apex.
The crossover infection, Rex and Apex have actually been talking about doing a crossover.
Yeah, his character Fembat versus Devil Flyer. Yeah,
that'd be great, especially the way the arts are together. Because I remember met both of you guys on his channel, and it seemed like you guys hit it off personality-wise really well.
Oh yeah.
He's
we both like comics, Dan. Else is enough.
That's not enough. I've met some people who like comics, and some of them are crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of them are actually. It seems like.
Well, Dan, I'm just crazy enough to put a killer clown in my story.
Oh, that's great art, man.
And I can't say that I like clowns too much, but
yeah, you should draw what scares you.
That hand. Can we see that?
Can we see that hand again?
I was married to a couple at one time, but
my wife is married to one now.
Something like this panel here,
that's great.
I don't need dialogue. That pretty much tells it,
That's great.
And this story is not about a bog per se, which is the sort of man thing type character or swamp thing type character. It's more about the clown.
Yeah. That hand going over that eye looks great, man.
Yeah. I know some artists that would have done that all up, Todd McFarlane. You know.
That's great.
Todd McFarlane.
He liked to exaggerate anatomy a little bit.
He did. Yeah.
I
mean, you look at his Hulk run, and it's like, is that my pillow before my pillow? I mean, it looked like Bruce Banner with all these my pillows stuck to him. He was so blown up,
As much as I love McFarlane, I really think Capullo was the better Spawn artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of people would agree with you. I think he kind of brought the heavy metal.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't care for his Batman with Scott Snyder run though. I liked the story. There was the Court of Owls and all that.
More cartoony.
That's
is
true.
He not?
Yeah, McFarlane is more cartoony. Man, was he good to win. That dude knows how to make toys. I'll tell you that. Like he knows how to design and make toys.
Yeah, he's doing it for DC. I don't know that they're great nowadays.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it seems like the quality on the McFarlane toys has gone down just a little bit recently. But then again, I've seen a few upcoming figures that he's going to release that look really good.
When can we expect the Apollyon 2000 XX pop-up book?
Yeah, you gotta talk to Josh about that.
I bought that just because look at the format.
Yeah, that looks great.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
That's whack, man. The way they cut and put this thing together, you know?
Well, give me just a second. I'm gonna grab the book real quick. I'll be right back.
That blackbird popping right out of the middle of it, though, is a little much.
Look at Magneto there.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, you can't pass that up. Come on.
Do they got a Wolverine page in there where he's popping out?
Oh, they got a Wolverine page in there. Yeah.
All right, let's see Wolverine's page.
All right. Well, we got the group shot when you first open it up, which is awesome.
All right, that's cool. I love they're using the hollow foil.
Look at that with the blast
Cutouts and stuff.
Cyclops.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Magneto.
So here's the book itself.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm finding the Wolverine for him. Here it is. Here's the Wolverine.
That's
there
awesome.
you got the claws popping out and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah,
You can
that's
make a
awesome.
move. Yeah, that's what's pictured on the cover.
The original motion comic. There you go.
There you go, lenticular.
Yeah, here's the here's what you actually get. So it's not. I wouldn't call it too big. I mean, it's.
Oh my
not
God,
very
that's a
big.
phone book. What are you talking about for a comic?
Timothy.
That's 6
Wow.
trade paperbacks squeezed together between 2 pieces of.
Some of
That's
the
amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, I'm a huge fan of the black and white art too, so I'm really gonna be enjoying this one.
Yeah, Apollyon will always be black and white. Kolga and some other books are going to be in color, and Josh is taking his time with it. But this turned out really, 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 really great. I couldn't be more proud of it.
Timothy says, "Don't forget that Magneto has Nito mentioned in his name, which people like."
Yeah, and she says, "Oh, Trouble's here," but I thought Smoking Wraith was Trouble, not Timothy Olsen.
Ah, Timothy's cool.
Yeah, I like
Smoking-
stuff like
that's Smoking Wraith,
this,
though.
man, that's formatted differently. You know, that's done a little differently. I
do too.
I like books that. Here's a couple more examples of I like back in the day at Walden Book. Remember Walden Book?
Oh wow!
You would get like hardback edition, like this was $16.95 back in the day.
Yeah.
And Auschwitz, light reading. But,
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Oh my!
just great stuff in hardback for fairly inexpensive to be hardback. The comic book. This is awesome. And now with crowdfunding, you do that. This one, I like because it had spot varnishing on it. Voyage into the deep.
Yeah.
Fisher. There's like matte finish, but the fish are like, and some of the lettering and stuff are shiny.
Well, man, it's crazy what you'll find at like used bookstores and stuff nowadays. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, it's and I haven't even read these. This is the saga of Jules Verne's Captain Nemo.
That's
what
cool.
that is. Just under another title.
I got the entire Divine Comedy for like $5 at a used bookstore with gold pages, everything.
Wow.
It's just crazy. It's the entire thing. It's not just the Inferno. There's a little local shop around. It's just, I don't know. I'm amazed at people who don't buy physical media.
Yeah.
Carrie said, "Can she see the book again?" Yeah, I got you, Carrie. Give me just a second.
Men are always in a hurry.
So there's the cover.
Not always, Carrie.
Look
There's
up.
the back.
That baby is Carrie.
Yeah.
There's some art from the inside. Yep, Josh is a fantastic artist. Whether in his page layouts are really, really, really good. His fight action scenes, everything. I don't know. The man's been teaching art for 10 years. He knows what he's doing. I can't praise him enough. So.
Oh, hey, I got to bust Carrie's chops, by the way.
Go for it.
I swear she told me a while back she was gonna crochet me something. I haven't seen nothing yet, Carrie.
Oh, yeah, I vaguely remember that.
That was a while ago.
I didn't even solicit her for the little crochet ball she did for me.
I know. I feel slighted.
Crocheting's hard, man. More power to you. Somebody made us a Winnie the Pooh one for our kid. I don't know how they did it.
And Carrie's already back. She says, "Do you think you went any slower this time? Is there a link?"
But Carrie, it's not that I'm trying to go fast. It's that I'm trying not to shield too hard on someone else's stream.
Oh no, that's what we're here for, Dan. Don't worry about it.
All right, yeah. All right, I'll put it back up there, Carrie.
The ninth circle of hell is reserved for the creators of unfulfilled and light comic books.
Well, Birch, we fulfill our stuff, and we get less than a month's turnaround on delivery. So we definitely
I'm on board
fulfilled
with
and
that one,
delivered.
Birch.
Shadowhawk,
more of
you're
it.
starting to wobble some. Can you bounce stuff out back
Yep,
in?
you got it.
Thank you.
Here you go, Carrie. Here's some
I didn't
more.
have the
Let me see if I
heart
can
to tell
find
him
you
that was the
something.
last 30 minutes.
Is this slow
Ignore
enough,
Rex.
Carrie?
You shield away, Dan. That's what Carrie says. Absolutely. You've got all the time in the world till I have to go over on Dan Pleagle's.
Tell you what, I'll just give you page by page. I'll do the whole story here for you. But yeah, 175 pages. It's not I don't think it's anything that most people have read before. We really tried to go for something to try to elevate the medium a little bit, as pretentious as that sounds. We wanted to make kind of a thing that people will be reading in 10, 15 years.
I would think
Hopefully.
that you can go through that quite quickly because I didn't see a lot of dialogue there. Although I know it's got enough dialogue to sustain it.
It's the first chapter has got a lot of exposition, a lot of what they would call exposition dump. But to me, it's getting it out of the way so you don't have to do the modern Joss Whedon or Hollywood way of they like to pepper in the past, the mystery, but the stupid J.J. Abrams mystery box method. I don't like that. I like to get to the plot and get to the characters and get it moving. They used to say, "Don't bore us, get to the chorus." In music.
Yeah. Birch Tree says, "Mind you, the Seventh Circle is reserved for the creators of books that fulfill on time but suck."
Well, luckily ours doesn't suck, so pick another circle.
Yeah, yeah. Circling the drain.
Birch, can you give me the entire list? I'd love to see all the circles.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Carrie. Thank you for wanting me to shill it more.
Yeah, yeah.
Timothy, we all have exposition dumps once in a while. Depends on how much fiber you've had.
Yeah, I mean, I had one page where I had to be an exposition to kind of set up things in Devil Flyer, and it was no more than that. It was not a lot of dialogue, but it had to be written. I tried to actually keep it to a minimum, to tell you the truth. The way I kind of work is tell the picture and story. But now when you're dealing with sort of maybe deeper issues or deeper concepts, you just about have to get creative on how to dump that exposition seamlessly on people, don't you?
Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky. You read any kind of Russian author, like they give you information, and if you're Tolstoy or Dostoevsky, particularly Dostoevsky, he does it in such a warm, natural way. It doesn't feel like it. There's I don't know. I think a lot of writing has been corrupted by thinking people are stupid, and I get it. A lot of people act stupid, but I don't think people who want to read comics and want to read books are stupid, and I'm not going to treat them that way.
No, I mean, comics made me a reader. Really, I needed.
Me too. Yeah.
We all needed. I needed the visual stimulation with the words.
Mm-hmm.
But comics just made me a reader for the visuals caught me, and then the words caught me. I don't know where I would be. I mean, it showed me concepts and words and vocabulary, and
Rex,
that I had,
how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 85.
Okay.
No, I'm 50. I'm 58. 58.
All right. Well, you're still. Then you're definitely still old enough to remember comics from the 60s and 70s, man. Like they had massive amounts of dialogue and monologue and exposition.
And some of the Golden Age did too. Oh my God! Some of the Golden Age were like dictionaries.
But it was
Yeah.
cool. Like, and it makes, especially if you had someone like a Jack Kirby, art, like a massive sprawling art. That dude would write novels on a page.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I thought that stuff was great. I mean, sometimes it's a little schlocky to get through, but you're giving people so much more than some guy getting up and walking to get coffee for 2 pages, like I've seen in modern comics.
Oh God. Or they go sit in the coffee shop, or it's like an episode of Friends. What do the superheroes do? They get together at a coffee shop and wait for a crime or something.
They talk about their feelings.
Yeah, and of course, nowadays they're all rainbow colored and all that good stuff.
Timothy says Golden Age sucks. I can see some of it being a little dry.
Check out Timothy's Golden Age themed masterpiece, Meld It. Oh, sorry, Timmy. Was that not supposed to be Golden Age? We love Timothy. He's a regular around here.
Birchtree, you're right. Dostoevsky was the Stan Lee of Russian postmodernism. Well, I don't know if he was. I think he was a modernist, wasn't he? Well, I'm not
Mama's not dying, Carrie. She's just smoking.
Don't die, Mama Hawk. I'm glad you guys have an actual active chat that participates.
Hey, anytime that you have Catholic Infinity in here, you're gonna have an active chat. So welcome.
Sometimes the chat is much more active than we are.
Yep.
Good Lord, woman.
Carrie says, ignore Timothy. I had a question for you, Dan. Scroll past the trouble.
I
don't know what the question is.
Let's see. Ignoring you is easy. Dude screaming Dan is not that your alternative cover. Maybe that was it.
Oh.
No, that is that's the ash can. You can also you can also order that as well.
Oh right. Yeah, the one that looked like Cyborg.
That's right. We didn't go with different covers for this one. It's our first campaign. We didn't want to complicate things. We didn't really know any other artists. We didn't feel like paying another artist. We wanted it to be kind of a very punk rock, kind of what you see is what you get with this one. With some other ones, we'll expand a little bit more.
Well,
so if you're gonna use the same artist, it's gonna have some consistency to it, right?
Oh yeah. It's always gonna be Josh on Apollyon. It's always gonna be Josh on Biofile Kolga. We have like 6 other books we'd like to get out. We'd like some other artists. If you guys know some other artists, just have a message me.
How deep are you into issue 2?
We've got it planned out. I haven't started writing it on paper, but we've got it all plotted out. We've got all the chapters plotted out. It'll probably take like a week or 2 to actually write, and then Josh just starts drawing it.
Wow, cool.
Yep.
I don't know if I could bite off something that was nearly
Dan. Do you always are you always that high paced on your writing?
Yeah, because I hate writing.
Well, okay.
So I want it done as quick as possible.
Makes sense to me, bro.
Yeah. I usually sit down. There's a little like bed right here that pulls out. It's like a futon type thing. I'll sit down and I'll usually do stick figures, the whole thing, knock out all the pages in one sitting sometimes, and scan it, send it to Josh, and let him do whatever he wants basically with the art.
But you do little thumbnails with stick figures and shit.
Oh yeah, they're awful, but
they're
stick figures. Yeah,
dude,
it's legitimate.
I love
figures.
To see that kind of stuff though. Like when you do see an ash can or something, and you see like here's the author's original layouts for the artist, and it's just stick figures or like
some of my stuff. It's pretty pitiful,
Well, on the page where Zero. On the campaign page where Zero's screaming like this, and there's like all this scrawled writing in the background. That is my page. I had drew a stick figure of him, and then drew like all those words, and Josh just took that page, scanned it in, and then drew over it. Yeah. Birchtree Publishing. I do hate writing. I don't mean that mean. It's like it's just. I would rather be playing like Pokemon or something, or going for a walk outside.
Consciousness. Why is it I mean, you still haven't, and maybe I'm just missing it, Dan, and tired. But
Okay.
why this story? I mean, what is so?
Oh, okay.
I
I can
mean,
answer
maybe I
that.
just need to read it and get
That would
lost in
help.
it and go, okay, I kind of get what he's going for here. You know why? I mean, because you're like, I've got to do Babylon 5, which is like
Oh,
a
I know
million
Babylon
years in the
5. Yeah.
future and a million years in the past, and somewhere we meet in the middle. This is big thing, and you're saying,
Yeah.
yeah, we might have 5 or 6 more. What is the overarching story of this thing that is so important to get out, you think?
The point behind the Godfoe universe is
Mm-hmm.
to express the idea. There's two ideas. One is that man can't be God, and that man has always tried to be God. If you look at human history, this pattern that has always fascinated me is you have the God King, you have
Oh hell, I
Pharaoh,
could do that in 8
yeah,
pages.
you have Caesar. For some reason, humans we always align ourselves to have some kind of God figure, and it
Right.
usually goes really wrong for us. I mean, that's what we're seeing today. Like we're seeing people. I mean, what really set, if I can be very frank, what really set me off was during like COVID was seeing like the Fauci worship.
Yeah.
And like it's like what, wow, you just throw
But
a
I
guy
think
on
a lot of
TV.
that's just ginned up propaganda, Dan. You know that.
Yeah, but it happens all throughout all of human history.
Well, that's because the majority of society are more sheeple than individual people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're
there
always
is.
going to have
I'm
like
not saying
the
it's
artists,
not out
the
there.
musicians,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the
But nowadays you have to
the
be
cast
skeptical
offs
about how.
from high society, that are doing their own thing, and then all the sheeple will just be like, yes, we need someone to lead us and tell us what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Apollyon 20XX is the beginning, basically showing how the Godfoe universe comes to be, like how this being does take over the earth, and then for the next several thousand years, how people react to it. And it's not going to just be sci-fi. That's the thing. Like, it's not a sci-fi story. It's got some elements of that. It's the different eras it takes place in. Is basically like civilization has reset multiple times, and what was once science is now religion, and vice versa and
Right.
stuff like that. Yeah, and it's also, man, I'm just bored, dude. Like I go to work,
You must
and it's like
be. I mean, my God, this
I
is.
Lord.
don't really like TV. I have high
Yeah.
anxious energy. I'm a musician, for crying out loud. I'm putting out 2 albums this year.
Right.
Nice,
Wow.
dude. What do you play?
I mean, I play anything with strings. I play some piano. I was a voice major for a while too. Um,
Oh, well.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'm
the
bass and
music,
guitar and a little bit of keyboard.
nice. Well, the music for the trailer, that's my band. That's the first album we did. We recorded that in a coffee shop in a week.
Oh,
Um,
cool. I'm gonna have to listen closer next time. Half the time, I don't listen to the music too close on a
yeah,
trailer unless it really grabs me.
that's a way of
Sorry,
saying.
I'm not trying to be mean.
Yeah,
Oh,
Carrie, we
that
have a
came out
YouTube
wrong. I'm
channel.
sorry.
It's fine. I'll put it in the chat, Carrie. We do have a YouTube channel. We're putting out we haven't put out an album in like 8 years. We made that one in college. We had a coffee shop friend, and we would go in there at like 3 in the morning. We'd cut a track or two, and
Oh,
then
cool.
we finally bought all the equipment we need now to build our own studio, and so now we're actually going to put out a record. We've got another one coming
Now is
out
that the Blue Bolt band or the
that's right, Blue
Pentecostal
Bolt.
band?
Both. Oh, that's Blue Bolt. Pentecost is like my side project where I do things myself.
Hmm.
Oh,
So
okay.
here's I'll put it in the
Oh,
chat, Carrie. So I'm a bored fellow. I mean, also, I mean, I
I'm a
have a
bored
firm
fellow.
I have a firm belief in the importance of art and if I may say the fire of God. I think if
Mhm.
something is burning inside of you, you have to get it out, and you owe it to like the world to get it out. And I mean, I'm
Right.
gonna die one day, and I want to make as much as possible before I die. And I'm
Yeah.
not afraid. Like I don't care what anyone thinks of it. And that's the thing. I don't want to play games. I don't want to play indie comic games. I want to make
So
what I
best
want to
case
make.
scenario,
Get out.
Dan, you get your 6, 7 volumes out. Your Dune, your War and Peace,
Yeah,
holy
Dune.
crap.
Yeah.
your Dante's Inferno, whatever, your concerto, your symphony, your opera,
Yeah, and
your
Carrie in
great
chat makes a good.
masterpiece.
Magnum opus.
What your magnum opus? What what do you want people to come away after reading all that with?
I would hope they would come away with a knowledge of God, if I'm being very honest. I don't mean that pretentiously, and I don't mean that to shove that on people, but I mean, I don't think you can get away from that reality. I think Christ is the ultimate reality, and if you are honest and artistic, that's the only thing that can come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That your creativity comes from God.
Yeah, I think it all has to be. It all has to. I mean, that's the only way, because people used to view creativity as like, shamanistic. There was a spirit or the muse, and then it's only until like the past 100, 200 years that we view creativity as a self-expression. Well, if you're a materialist, what is being
Well,
expressed? What
Dan,
is
why do you
yourself?
believe in this Jesus thing? My God, I mean, you seem like you're an educated guy. You read
Don't know
Dante,
about
and
that.
you actually, you seem,
I had a supernatural
you're a
encounter,
quandary, you're
and that's what
enigma.
did it.
Especially for your age group.
I don't know about that. Um, I had a supernatural experience that convinced me of God, and then after that, it's only gotten more.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm not here to preach to people. My father was a pastor and a preacher. I'm not a preacher,
yeah.
but there's no such thing as I don't think there's any such thing as self-expression in a materialist sense. I don't think you can be a materialist and believe in self-expression. If you're a materialist, self-expression is just defecation. If there's what is the self? Like you gotta answer what the self is before it is expressed. So to me, it seems art points to God or at least the supernatural. Because where does it come from? Where does inspiration come from? Where do thoughts come from? If they don't come from outside of you, they can't come from inside of you. If you're just meat,
Yeah, yeah.
So Carrie asked, "What music genre would you say it is?" We call it prog punk. It's very It's progressive in the sense that the songs are like 8-9 minutes long, but we try to keep it pretty punk, kind of like a early Rush, without Rush talent.
Oh, I love early.
Uh,
I do too.
prog rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, before they got too carried away though, man. That first Rush album, God, it's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
They actually, well, that was before they got
Pert.
Neil Peart in the band, and then once
It was tough in the
he
80s,
started influencing the writing a lot as well as the drums.
Oh yeah.
It
Well,
was
I
tough.
love 2112.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
It was
That's
tough in the 80s, because you had MTV, you had commercialism. There was a lot of people buying into that, Roll the Bones,
mm,
you know,
not one of my
Jefferson
favorites.
Starship. I
Yeah.
know because
Yeah.
it's commercial,
Mm,
Time
not really
Stand Still.
thought provoking,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know. I love Rush. Well, and that's something with what we're trying to do, and stuff with like Rush, and I like the band Tool, and I like Neon Genesis Evangelion. A lot of people write that stuff off as like heady and pretentious. It's not. It's visceral and it's more emotional than it is in your head. The last thing the world needs is for people to be more in their head right now. Everything's so intellectualized right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
if you're not pretentious enough, then nobody wants to listen to you.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
I haven't been, it's an election year and it's like I've been down that road and I know how just that stuff can just I'm just tuning it all out, Dan. It's
Mm-hmm.
like we talked about this even with music. I'll come on here and I'll play some of my favorites that I know I can get away with that's not going to be a copyright issue
Yeah.
and enjoy it with my chat or whatever. And even if they don't enjoy my taste
Yeah,
in music,
even if
I do my
saw my
thing,
ears are bleeding.
Yeah.
and I've said, I want to be in my head right now. I want to hear myself think, because I am trying to write and think out certain plot points and events that what do I really want to say? What do I really want to express with all these characters?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And if you're only dealing with a handful of characters, it's a lot easier than if you have a whole universe of characters.
Yeah.
But it can be done,
Well, and a lot of people, and I don't mean to sound woke with this or be accused of it, but a lot of people don't know how to write women now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they ever did. It's like I don't know if a lot of writers have ever met one. It's
that's true.
yeah, but that's something that really got in my crawl. Two things that really got in my crawl is it seems like no one knows how to write for young boys, like adventure stuff, and no
Right.
one knows how to write women, and those seem like two different things. I didn't say write for women. I said write female, like write women, like write female characters.
Right.
Well, I
And
don't, you're
yeah,
probably a little young for it, Dan, but back in the day when Rex and I were growing up, they had it wasn't just the adventure stories for boys. They had adventure stories for girls too. They
Like
had Nancy
Nancy
Drew
Drew
mysteries.
oh,
mystery.
like Nancy Drew, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the girls I grew up with. A lot of them were tomboys and stuff. They like to do the same shit we did. You
yeah,
know,
and that's great. Like,
that was fun. I mean, but some like, and I noticed it in the '90s and the early 2000s. It really became this big divide between men and women again, where like all of a
mm-hmm.
sudden chicks were hating on dudes all the time, and we were just predatory and blah blah blah. It's just like, what the hell happened? We were all getting along.
Most of us are too lazy to be predatory.
How are you
Yeah, no
trying to
shit, dude. I don't
write
have
your?
time to be stalking nobody. I got things to do.
Yeah, I'm
How are
sorry,
you
Rex. What were you
trying to
saying?
write the women characters in your book, Dan?
Like women I've met in real life.
Hmm.
They're
Oh, annoying.
well, they have flaws.
Well, now
That's
you
the
have
thing.
different characters at different age groups,
Mm,
right?
Sorry, I'm just
yeah,
teasing
we have
you.
everything from like young prepubescent girls to teenagers to women to Biofalcolga. She's almost 70 years old. She's just in a younger body,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
and the main thing is starting and not ending with it, but starting with the maternal instinct. That is a major driving force for women. I'm not saying I've got to have a baby, but how women, especially, love people differently than men do, and their
hmm
responsibility is different, and not getting too preachy, but those tropes used to exist, and somebody some along the line, I guess progressivism unsexed women and made them like robots, and then now it's made them men.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, man, like, have you met? Because like they think a woman being strong is being like a man. It's like, man, what's more terrifying, a male grizzly bear or a mother bear? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
if
Good.
you want emotion, if you want power,
Good
you
example.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
ways to do it. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be like a man. Like if you want a terrifying woman, threaten her children.
Well, hell hath no fury, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
we
dude,
used to know
like
that. Like a woman scorned.
Hmm.
what was it, a year or two ago when Aaron Lepresti jumped into CG and started making stuff.
Did
People
he
came
do?
after him.
Did he do Wraith of God? Was that him?
Yeah, he did Embrace
Yeah,
the God.
that
Yeah.
looked great. Yeah.
Oh, dude, Aaron's amazing, and his wife Shelly is just cool as hell. And people came out after Aaron, and Shelly came out. Man, she became a presence
Oh,
on the internet.
she was a cancer survivor, wasn't she? I remember her saying something
I
about
believe
that.
so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I actually
And
talked with
She
her
did.
briefly, because my
yeah,
mom was a
she,
survivor as well. Yeah, she was a
but
wonderful person when I spoke with her.
yeah, I call her Mama Bear, man.
Yeah,
She's CG's Mama Bear. She come
yeah,
out and didn't pull no punches, man.
yeah. Well, here, like, we're putting out a novel this year. It's 300 pages. It's an actual like prose novel, and we wrote it
Oh,
before
cool.
we wrote it before we wrote everything else, and we were trying to figure out how to put it out, and then we saw how B.A. Turner did his Vigilantes
I was
Creed.
just gonna ask you if you
Yeah,
saw BA stuff.
we've talked with him, and I was like, man, there's very few things that I see someone else do that I'm jealous I didn't do first, but that's one of them.
Hmm.
Dude,
And
as a matter of fact, I'm on page 97 of book 2 right now.
nice. and and one of the characters in our book is named Bosba, Bossba, and she's super protective of her cousin Garo. And I don't know, it felt really nice writing her with that maternal instinct, because like
Hmm.
she has it to a fault. She's almost a devouring mother archetype from Jung, but it's what drives a lot of the story. And like, I don't know, I don't remember the last time I saw something like that, like a character like that. Yeah, I think maybe from Ender's Game, Valentine from Ender's Game, which that's probably the most influential book I've ever read. Was probably Ender's Game.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've never read Ender's Game.
Dude, fantastic book. It's very short, and he wrote it. it's one of the few novels from this era now, or I should say this era, it's like 1990, that it feels like what you were describing, like a book that was written for kids, but it's also something adults can enjoy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's it's one of my favorite novels ever. That and
Well, they
The
made a
Giver.
movie out of that, right, or something?
Yeah, it doesn't really.
Yeah, I don't think I haven't seen the movie either. I think I was
It's
familiar with the
it's
movie.
very much like Dune, where there's so much internal dialogue you can't really do it on screen.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the problem.
David Lynch tried. Yes.
Oh, poor David Lynch.
Oh, he's not hurting. He's all right.
No. I mean, that movie was fun, like
Yeah.
visually, but I mean, it had no chance of telling the story of
No.
Dune. It's just. And then they did what Sci-Fi Channel tried to
Dude,
do the
I
miniseries.
love that one. The miniseries.
That one was
Yeah.
much better, man. It was
Mhm.
a lot better.
And then they
But
did
like
Children
I've
of
read
Dune as well.
all of the Dune novels. I read the
Yeah.
ones that Frank did with his son towards the end, right before he died.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, Brian. And then I believe I read Brian's next one that he did after his dad died, and
Yeah.
that's probably about as much as I've read it. But man, I loved that Dune series. It was
I
great
did
stuff.
too. The first 4 books I loved. It was Dune, Messiah, Children,
Yeah.
and God Emperor.
Yep,
Yeah.
God Emperor. Oh, dude, that book is crazy.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Well, Rex, you do all your own art, don't you?
Not all of it. No,
But he creates all the characters and the backstories and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I create all
Comes
the
up with the
characters.
original
But
concept.
I know I've seen some of your art before, and it's like, I mean, I do stick figures, so I'm always impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Rex
Well,
does
you know.
all the initial character designs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't had anybody else design one from
Wow.
scratch, have you, Rex? I
No,
don't think.
Man, look at that. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so
We got
we
a clock for an eye.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know where that came from, but
That's
you know,
cool.
Dude, you know what's cool about
He could-
that
he
too
could
is
say
you
your
could
time is
actually
up.
set the time to different, settings depending on like what he's thinking or.
Nice. The clock reminded me of the Phantom Toll Booth. Oh, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
Carrie,
working
I
on
think
several right
Timothy
now.
left. Oh, that's cool.
Huh?
I was telling Carrie,
Yeah.
she asked him where Timothy was. I think he left.
You drove him off, Carrie. You scared
Nobody
him.
left. Yeah, there was a couple of
So
people leave.
Rex, are these just
Poor
like sketch
Timothy's
cards you
probably
do just out of
cowering
nowhere?
in a corner now.
These are head sketches that everybody's going to get one free of
Yeah.
whatever character,
Yeah.
mixed media paper that backs Devil Flyer, and it's just kind of like a thank you, an incentive to. So that one I showed you, back last May, I did a character
Nice.
called the Seeker,
Yeah.
or just kind of had the idea and get it down and all the neat weapons that he would have or whatever that kind of goes with his thing. And then last night, on Tuesdays, I do topic lists, and had this lying around, and I thought, okay, I'll do one of him, or try to anyway.
Yeah.
And a lot of the characters I've created recently have been like all black characters, like Harbinger here,
Oh, that looks great.
going up against.
No, Carrie, the last comment from Timothy was, so I don't know, I completely agree. That's it.
There you go. Yeah,
She's still wondering in the chat there,
I'm
sorry.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like this
That
guy.
reminds me of something from the
Yeah.
Herculoids.
Hmm?
Yeah, I love the
He's got
Hercules. Yeah.
he's got a very
Yeah.
God dang it.
That's cool.
I like
I keep
that
wanting
you
to say Miller,
try
but
and
it's not
do
Miller.
different
It's
interpretations.
Yeah.
You got a
try out
very
and see what
Kirby
happens.
feel to him.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I mean-
I like the antennas there.
I do too.
Yeah, see, I
and
feel I
Doc
told
was
Rex
like,
too, I like
why
the
are the antennas? I'm like, because it's infested with termites. I don't know. It looks cool. I thought I'd try it on one. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Try
rule
something
of,
different, and
rule
then
of
you might
cool should
you might
always
strike gold sometime,
rule of
That's right.
cool should always come first.
But now
Yeah,
you see the jagged line underneath and
Yeah.
above. That
Yeah.
came from Jack Kirby, that little
Yeah.
zigzag lightning
Yeah.
bolt inking thing that he would do for muscles. And I just
oh
happened
no,
to say,
Carrie.
well, what if I put that above and below a character's eye?
Yeah.
And that's how I
He
came up with this
he did
character.
that a lot with a lot of the
Yeah.
New
Hey, Red.
Gods, a lot of New God stuff.
Excuse me. What?
Carrie may have accidentally blocked Timothy. Do you want to take a look at the YT chat and see if you need to
No, I
unblock
really
him?
don't.
Okay.
I really
You know, I'm
don't.
trying to do a show here.
I'm sorry, man. It's just killing me over here. I'm,
That's
I'm
fine.
watching the chat, and it's just like you're murdering me, Carrie.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
killing me.
She's
Well,
like, no, I may have accidentally blocked him. I'm like, oh my god.
now,
That's
are you
funny.
familiar with Eric Weathers' Battle Brick Road?
Yes.
Sort of Wizard of
Very
Oz
cool
with
book.
Yeah.
guns. I
He did it
created the
like
mighty
last year.
Battle Brick,
Oh, really?
and
That's
this is
cool.
up for sale up on the campaign. And it will be a viable character. You wait. People will go, you know what? I remember a time when I could have bought the original Battle Brick concept drawing, and people will be regretting not picking that up. But
Mm.
campaign's not over yet. Maybe they will, you know.
Yeah.
I've been
Right.
trying to do more of late. I enjoy drawing. When I came on the scene, I was having others do the artwork for me, and because I'm trying to birth a whole universe here, and it was
Yeah.
just too much for one person to do. Plus, I was trying to think about the writing and being expansive, plus streaming and stuff, and uh, was trying to get as much done as possible and collaborate with others. And so, um, but now I'm kind of switching back and doing more of the artwork myself.
Yeah.
But I still commission other artists to do other stories for me. My neighbor down here, he did I storyboarded it out and said, oh, and ran through it with him, and gave him a copy of the storyboard, and he went it, and I said, oh, I want to add a couple pages. He added a couple pages, and we came up with the story, and then I started working with Doc on the clown story
Yeah.
with Bog, because I knew that the Devil Flyer story by itself was not going to be large enough really to say, to even if people enjoyed it initially, to keep them coming back for more. It had to be more than that. So my vision over the last couple of years has really expanded, about all this.
Yeah.
And my thought process about how to accomplish what I want to accomplish with my writing and with my art.
I think that's
So
great.
I'm working on the last 8 or 9 pages now of the story. There are some stories that need lettering. There's some, like that clown story, it needs some spot coloring and lettering. But it's about 85% done. So hopefully we can get a pretty quick turnaround,
Oh yeah.
on the book, and then hook people. But I have an advantage on this first one. Basically, my friend did the Devil Flyer story for my thumbnails, pro bono, plus a cover, plus a
Oh
trading
wow.
card, plus some promo things.
Yeah.
Uh, so I didn't have to pay anybody for that, or have to, you know, sit down and draw it and take the time to do it.
That's a great head start.
So I know I'm at an advantage here. So I need this first campaign to kind of establish things. And I know a lot of the growth will come from good reviews, kind of like what's happening with the Godfoe universe. People are getting it in their hands. And have
Hmm.
you seen some good reviews?
Oh yeah, we've gotten about 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
We sent out a digital copy, review copy before the book was out, I mean, it had like one or two grammatical errors in it, of course, but it's a review copy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
we've got nothing but good reviews from it, which makes you feel scared. You're like, like I hope I did something right if I've got good reviews.
I never look at them. A lot of campaigns will send them to me, when I back. They're
Yeah.
like, "Here's your free digital copy," and it's like I'm still waiting on the book, so I don't even open them up. I just leave them.
Yeah.
Now, quick question here,
I'm a physical guy, man.
Carrie and Timothy both have a wrench, so how could she have kicked Timothy out here?
Maybe she's got a bigger wrench.
That's right. Oh, Timothy, that's not good. Um, no, that shouldn't be possible, Carrie. So it's not your fault. I think Timothy may have just left here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said,
He was
originally
probably
you scared him off
bored with
with
all this
God's wrath.
talk about Jesus.
I'm sorry.
No,
he's
not you,
actually
Dan.
a
Sorry.
Christian. That's a joke. He's actually a
Let's
Christian.
say, sorry, I mentioned that thing that's been around for at least 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean,
What? Too soon?
By
Yeah,
that
too soon.
name. By that name. Yeah, too soon. Yeah. We just watched the episode, which
Sorry.
was episode 1 of season 2 of The Chosen. Have you watched The Chosen, Dan?
I haven't, just because I don't have time to watch TV.
Oh, dude, that's one of the few TV shows I
Okay,
actually
I'm
recommend.
reaching over.
Yeah,
My
it's
hand is
really
on
good.
my mouse, and I'm kicking
Okay.
Dan, and he's never coming back again. Dan,
He
do
just
yourself
didn't
a
know.
favor. It's free. Go over to Angel Studios, or you can watch like the first season or two under The Chosen on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor.
No, Carrie,
Look,
he's gone.
I'll tell you what.
There is
One of
no
my
Timothy
favorites. It
comment.
really was one of my favorites.
Okay.
Just skip season 1. Just skip it. Okay.
All right. That's
Just
what I
go
do with Parks and
straight
Rec.
to the very first episode of season 2 and watch it. One thing they do, I don't want to. Oh man, I'd spoil it for him. Would I, Shadow?
I've read the Bible. I don't think you're gonna spoil it for me.
Okay, I'm going to spoil it for you, Dan, because this is going to subvert your expectations about. I mean, good right. You want good writing? You
All
check
right.
out The Chosen. I'm telling you. They go to Samaria. Okay, that's the way they
Okay.
left off. The Samaritan at the well, right?
Yeah.
And they went into Samaria with the woman at the well, right?
Mhm.
At the end of season 1. Well, season 2 picks up right there, and they're in Samaria, and the Sons of Thunder, James and John, they're out there plowing a field. They're not with the rest that go into Samaria. And he has them plowing a field for someone. They hate Samaritan.
Yeah.
They absolutely hate Samaritans the way they set this up. And
Hey, fellas,
they don't
I'm
really
gonna
realize,
drop into
that
chat.
they're
My wife
doing
is
this
home
for
from work.
Samaritan. Watch out.
Rick, I'm gonna drop back out. I'll be in chat.
Okay.
But the wife is home from work. She wants to talk, and I can't be streaming all night. So, Dan, it was lovely to meet you, sir. Hope we can get you and Joshua back maybe next time.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Likewise.
Yeah, we'll have a free for all, brother. All right, you guys have a great night. Hail up.
Have a good night, Shadowhawk. I'll be over there with Dan Plegel in a little bit.
Yeah.
About an hour and a half on his channel, Talking Devil Flyer.
Nice.
He's nice enough to do that. I had him on a couple days ago. We had like a long stream, like 5 hours. I was drawing and he was talking, showing stuff, and
I think
drawing
I think I saw you on one not too long ago with about 4 or 5 other guys.
Yeah. Probably so. Yeah, I get around.
I was laying in bed like eating like chicken noodle soup, and I was like, "Hey, that's Rex."
Well, I do topic lists like every Tuesday we draw. I do like Red Valkyries who cosplayed Devil Flyer and launched us over there on her channel.
Yeah,
she cosplays all these individual characters.
That's great.
And it was just a fun time. And I'm on with Apex. Co-host over there on him when he does Apex After Dark. So I don't just stick to this channel. I think that helps. Get to know people. And
we're not great with that on our channel. We'll do like one stream every 2 weeks, maybe a month,
mm-hmm.
and then we just kind of forget about it for a while.
I kind of lost my train of thought there. What I was talking about before Shadowhawk left.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, do you need to? You want to go ahead and close this down so you can get ready for the next one?
well, I've got an hour and a half, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, we can go a little longer if
Okay.
you've got time.
Yeah, I got about 20 minutes. I could do. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I got confused because you said 10 o'clock. I'm like, it's 9:30 where I am.
Yeah, it's 8:30 here, so
I got you.
yeah, I've got a little bit longer. Yeah, he's going to go in for a surgery. He just got done with chemo treatment for
Oof.
cancer, and he got a new baby. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's about 18 months old, I think,
Oh, that's a big scare,
now,
man. Oh, I'm glad he
and
came through it.
he's going in for some kind of surgery, and he won't be streaming for about a month. And I said, "Well, could I come on before you?" And he remembered and just asked me if I could come on. It was very nice of him, to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, you are grounded, young lady. Shadowhawk says. He just want to go out there and have time to mess with Carrie. Um,
That's funny.
Take out the slack for Timothy. Uh, but yeah, I think if you get out there and people meet you more, Dan, they'll go, this is a very thoughtful young individual man, a free thinker, and he's all about the comics. And I think just the different chats that I've been in, there are people, there are a lot more people than, like you say, you don't drama chase.
Mm-hmm.
You avoid it like the plague, and I think that's a good thing, because I think there's a large section of people out there that they're here for the comics, or they're here because you're here about the comics. Maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
online and comics aren't their thing, but it can absolutely be interesting to listen to for
Yeah.
some people that aren't necessarily comic creators or comic readers.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's the thing. I'm kind of craving bigger conversations. It's fun talking to your Regs. Like a lot of people don't give that space or don't have that
right.
interest in anything outside of the immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People ask me, how's the page coming on Devil Flyer? And it's like, I've said recently, I'm trying to write a symphony here,
Yeah.
not just a comic book. You're asking for a comic book, and I'm trying to give you something epic. So
Mm-hmm.
don't try and nail it down to one thing. And, have you got those 8 or 9 pages done yet? They'll be done
Yeah.
when they're done, which is
Yeah.
not to mean, 3, 4 years from now, you know. Uh, I do believe in getting it done, but I also want, with this last story, to add that Jim Starling cosmic feel to it. That
Yeah.
that expansive, uh, mind blowing story, with
Mm-hmm.
the bystander, which focuses on a character called the bystander, which is kind of my watcher
Yeah.
in my universe.
You
And
want you want people to feel the same way about what you read that you felt about the thing that inspired you.
yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
my splash page, and let me bring it up here.
Yeah.
Uh, that's on the campaign. Um, I believe. There it is. Depicts a scene that I don't know if it was out of Amazing Spider-Man, probably Amazing Spider-Man. There, where
Yeah.
just instead of Devil Flyer, it would be Spider-Man all chained up and sinking.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a Marvel team up or if that was an Amazing Spider-Man, but there was a Spider-Man story that I read as a younger person, maybe in college, maybe when I was, 8 or 9. I can't tell you, but
Is it that
I'm
one where
immediately,
the
I opened that cover,
yeah.
which probably drew my attention, and Spider-Man's you're already in the story.
Yeah.
Now, whether that was a continuation or a flashback, which in my case here, it's a flashback, but could have been a
Yeah.
continuation from the issue before it and just picked up with him. But it immediately had me in the story, and that must have stuck with me, when I wrote
It,
that story.
is it the cover where Green Goblin's got him like this? He's like pointing at him and he's got a rope around him and he's tied up and he's pulling him on the glider.
Oh, it very well
Yeah.
could be. I
That's a
really don't
great
know
yeah.
which one it was,
That's a great cover, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, could have been one of those team ups where he goes up against Submariner. I don't know.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a mismatch right there.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man's full potential probably hasn't been shown, strength wise or whatever, agility wise. I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you go up against sort of a Superman level Spider-Man, all he has to do is keep him out of the water and dry him out, dehydrate him. Fish
One of
out of
my
water type thing.
one of my favorite, it was probably the only thing I really liked about Civil War, the first Civil War, was
Mhm.
the Illuminati was meeting, and Namor said something about like, well, I'm a king, and Iron Man said, "Not up here, you're not." And then the next page was Iron Man flying out. Namor had just knocked him clear of the entire building and was holding him underwater, drowning him. And I don't know. I love when you get to see Namor actually be Namor, because
Uh,
a lot of writers won't write him as the absolute bastard he is. Like he's not a nice person. He's not a good person. He's an old school king, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Caesar type character.
Well, I like those covers that kind of grab you by the throat. A lot
Yeah.
of these they look like pinups.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot out of my chat that a lot of covers don't have a lot. The cover doesn't have a lot to do with the story. I like
Yeah,
a
that's
cover that's
weird.
kind of story related. And
Well, I
on
noticed what some people complained about with Eric July's Isom is that some of the covers, nothing from the cover happened in the book.
yeah, on mine, we just explored. He asked me, "Well, what's an epic cover to you?" And I like
Yeah.
a burst through cover, and why don't we just singe it?
Oh yeah,
Like
it's
he's
great.
burning,
Yeah.
and then put all these characters down there because it's not just about one character; it's about a whole universe. And then this is kind of related there with the mobsters there that
Yeah.
John did. I can't really say that this cover here has a lot to do with Devil Flyer. I
Well, it's the
mean,
character. Yeah.
the story per se, it is kind of, you could classify that as like a pinup type cover, but there'll be others where it's definitely related.
Yeah.
He's going to mix it up with a character called, that's also on that cover with him, Inner Man. And,
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight. You remember those stories where the Hulk meets Spider-Man, they
Yeah.
fight, and then in comes the villain, and they
Yeah.
both team up to defeat the villain. And all of a
Yeah.
sudden they part friends or at least a little bit more knowledgeable about who each other is.
Well, that was my favorite part about the plot to Batman v Superman, which I love that movie. I loved that
Mm-hmm.
it was basically Lex Luthor pitting them against each other, and he was the actual bad guy. I mean, it's an old trope, but they did it so well. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And-
you can almost see Lex Luthor's paranoia about Superman and his ego. I think that comes
Yeah.
into play with it, but also that paranoia over on Batman, where it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
how do we stop this guy if he ever did get out of control? Because Batman always likes to have a contingency plan for everything, right? So it's like, yeah, I need some kryptonite to be able to stop this guy.
Well, that that Lex Luthor was to me one of the best on-screen villains ever, because he tricked the greatest detective of all time, and he basically killed Superman. Like he did to him. I mean, he ends up losing at the end. He is in prison, but he is such an effective villain.
Did
I
you
don't know.
like the last Batman story? Where he
The
was
one,
supposed to be depicted as more of a detective,
the
the
Robert
actor that
Pattinson
played in
one.
Twilight.
Yeah. Here's the thing. That movie looked and sounded great, but it just
Hmm.
like it just fell apart at the end. It's like an hour too long, and I don't know. To
Well,
me,
people
yeah,
people say that he was more of a detective, and yeah, others were giving him the suggestions.
yeah.
He was not doing any detecting.
He answered like
Commissioner
two
Gordon had a
riddles.
better idea than he did, or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
all along the movie, he
it's like
wasn't.
they couldn't really figure out what they wanted that movie to be.
I
Was it a mob
guess.
movie? Was it a detective movie? Was it a
People
horror
laud that as,
movie?
oh, I'm glad he's
Yeah,
more like Sherlock Holmes in this one. And I'm like, was he?
yeah.
I didn't see it.
No, I didn't
People
see it
were
either.
giving him clues, and he's like, maybe I'll consider that.
And he didn't know
That's not
he did,
detecting.
and he didn't know Spanish.
That's not using this noodle up here, you know. I mean, I get their wish list. They want to see that Batman, but that wasn't it for me, Dan.
Nah, it wasn't. It wasn't a good movie. That's the problem. Is it looks great, and the soundtrack is great, but it's not a good movie. But
Yeah.
well, Rex, I'm gonna have to go lay down. I've got my 3-year-old. She's not sleeping well.
Well, thanks for coming on for about an hour and 45 minutes. Well, I know you kind of came in a little bit late, but
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But you had strep throat, just getting over that. So
it happens. I mean, I guess I've got little kids. They're always getting something and passing it around.
I've been there, done that. I had 3 in the house at one time, and then 2 at another time. So
I had 2 and a vasectomy. So
I love when it like runs through the family and comes back to you, and then runs through the family and comes back to you.
The worst thing, I never experienced it. I've had kidney stones. I've had dislocated joints. The worst I think I've ever felt in my life was my 3-year-old had hand, foot, and mouth. And because I sleep in the same room with her, she was fine. She gave it to me. I was down for a week, man. And my hands felt like needles were stabbing in them, and all through my throat and mouth. I couldn't eat for about 5 days. It's maybe the worst I've ever felt in my life. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
You need to write a book on how to lose weight quickly.
I wish I could. I wish I could do that. Since I work in IT now for the past 5 years, I have gained so much weight.
Yeah,
it's
a lot of sitting.
Oh yeah, that's all we do.
Yeah.
But Rex, I always appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, and I'll talk with you later. I'm gonna.
Hey, when you and Josh can come back on together, we've had Josh on, we've had now you on. Maybe we could get both the team back together again and have both of you on.
Let me look at mine and his schedule when we can actually coordinate that together, and I'll just send it to you, and we'll come up with a date. All right.
Okay. When's Godfoe #2 going to come out? You think you're fulfilling one now?
Yeah. Well, Apollyon 20XX will come out this winter. Book 2, Volume 2 will come out. Biophile Kolga, which is about 80 pages, will come out. It's also part of the Godfoe universe. That should be out this spring. And we should be releasing the prose novel this summer. So we're trying to hit every quarter. That's our main goal, is every quarter to put something out.
Yeah, he's making fun of me. Strep throat. A strep throat, then. Whatever you want to call it. It's not fun.
I'm from the South. I mess up words all the time. Like
Yeah. If you're looking for diction, don't look here too closely. Loser.
All right. I appreciate it, Rex. And Shadowhawk, both you guys have a good night.
Hell of the chat.
Yep.
God bless.